So there you go. That was Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Elton John. Now we many things do get better with age, but sadly not our sleep. It's often expected that the things aren't going to be. Wine improves, cheese improves, but not sleep for 60% of UK adults. Now we may have had an extra hour in bed earlier in the month, but apparently we're losing at least 2 hours of sleep every night due to loud noises, which equates to 728 hours a year. Now, I've got two guests this morning on our newly christened Health Bit on a Tuesday morning. It's my delight to introduce Dr. Ellie Cannon, who is a GP, an author, and a broadcaster, and Steve Smith, the UK manager for MuteSnoring.com. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let's start with Dr. Ellie. I mean, we're losing a huge amount of sleep, aren't we? I mean, for a variety of reasons. I mean, what has the research told us that how are we losing this amount of sleep?
It is really surprising, isn't it? I mean, what we've shown with the research is that 2/5 of us are losing at least 2 hours of sleep a night, which sort of makes me tired even just thinking about it. The biggest factor keeping us awake for about 25% of us is our partner snoring. Noise is a big factor. Obviously, different noises in the house, noises outside the house. But if you've got somebody in bed next to you who's snoring, it's not surprising that's going to impact our sleep.
And the research tells us as well that people don't necessarily talk to their partners about this. They kind of suffer in silence. Well, they're not suffering in silence. They've got noises going on. And Steve, now mute snoring is a very kind of novel way of dealing. It's a very technology approached way of approaching this snoring problem, isn't it?
It is. I mean, over the last few years working for the company, I've met so many people who, at Joe's events or even friends and family that, when you ask, are you a snorer or do you know a snorer? Everyone's got a story about their dad or their wife or husband. I mean, the research told us that over 50% don't want to confront their partner. And I think, in a lot of cases, we're in loving relationships and this is often a tricky subject, handled with care. But with mute, it's a nasal dilator that's discreetly put in the nose, and it enables the user to breathe more easily through the nose, snore less, and sleep better. And we know from people that have used it and their partners that their partners can get a better night's sleep through less volume. So it's all about the nose, Paul. It's all about breathing through the nose and less through the mouth.
Excellent. Right. So that's the first tip is to focus on the nasal side of things.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Ellie, with just in terms of the lack of sleep, I mean, what health problems can that cause if we are losing sleep in this volume as we are?
Well, I mean, from the study, we showed that 15% of people will suffer from muscle pain as a result of not sleeping properly. So that's sort of a short-term and possibly considered a mild problem. But we all know, don't we, what it feels like not to have a good night's sleep. The next day you feel irritable, you feel tired, obviously, you feel quite groggy. If that's building up over time, it's very easy to understand that actually insomnia is associated with mental health problems, low mood, anxiety. Of course, we can all sort of understand that. But the data also shows worldwide that people who don't sleep well, people who have chronic insomnia, also suffer with physical health problems. It's associated with higher risk of people with heart disease and also with chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes. So it is a really serious issue.
It is, and I think anything that we can do to combat that, whether it's sometimes there's things we can do that are lifestyle changes, but it's a really tricky one. I think, and I can understand why people may not want to confront their partner by it, because it's something that you feel like you can't control. You're asleep at the time. I didn't choose to snore. I'm desperately trying to keep you awake. Stephen, has it helped people? This is the thing: are people telling us that this new technology can actually help us and really sort of
Yeah, I mean,
Sort that out for people.
it's very difficult, Paul, to stop snoring. I mean, people are out there, there's no panacea for some of these things. Lifestyle improvements definitely help, but we still want to have a good time. But what mute does is it's all about promoting breathing through the nose, so that when you go to sleep, sometimes when you turn the light off and turn over and go to sleep, a lot of us feel congestion in the nose. And I know myself, you'd often turn the light back on and perhaps blow your nose and try and get comfortable. With mute, it opens the airway, so you get better breath through the nose, and you're less reliant on that opening of the mouth to snore. It takes a little while to get used to, a couple of nights, but once you find the right size, once you get into the pattern of it, I'm sure it can help a lot of people.
Well, I very much hope so. And the good news is that means that I'll have people coming to me on the Valley Breakfast, listening wide-eyed and awake at 7 o'clock every morning to start their days off.
Good.
We often get texts and emails from people sort of saying that they've crawled to work. And actually, one of the things in the study was that, the number of people feeling, as you mentioned, feeling grumpy earlier on, but people drinking more coffee. I'm always banging on first thing in the morning about, have you had a cup of coffee yet? Get the kettle on. It's because I'm half asleep when I arrive at the studio.
Yeah, exactly. We've heard it before, Paul. Absolutely.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us this morning. And we've just to let you know the music choices this morning, our playlist. Dr. Ellie, you chose the Elton John track that introduced us this morning. Big fan of Elton?
Absolutely. I've just got tickets to see him next year.
This is the farewell tour that's lasted forever because he's had to have a break in the middle of it.
Exactly. I hope he doesn't have another break next summer, because I've never seen him in concert, so I have to see him.
I will tell you now, it's one of the best concerts I've ever saw. I saw him in Bolton once, and he was amazing. So you've got a good show coming. And Steve, you've chosen some Delamitri for us to play us out. Why Delamitri?
I was a big fan in the 90s, actually, and I got one of their CDs, and I still play it 20, 30 years later. So I love them. They're a great band.
Well, there we go. This is Delamitri, always the last to know. Thank you very much to Dr. Ellie Cannon and to Steve Smith from mutesnoring.com.
Thank you, Paul.